What's up, y'all? Okay, this should not be a hard thing to explain. So let's try to explain it without it being hard. I talked about taming the economic beast. Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, first you have to understand what the economic beast or machine is. Okay, it's a meta organism made up of all the people in the world that participate in the economy. Okay, everybody's doing stuff. It's a base. It's basically it's like an organism, and it transports resource and does stuff, and it builds stuff, and overall, it's like building this thing we call civilization. You know what I mean? And the thing that drives it primarily are incentives. That's what it's all about. The economic machine is an incentive driven machine. Now, we're familiar with money as an incentive, profit, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that's an obvious thing. Okay, it's kind of just, it's what people are going for. Okay, we know how to, let's just jump to it. We know how to manipulate the incentives in this economy to create different products, we different outcomes that we want. This is essential to taming the economic machine or taming the economic beast, whatever. I don't like calling it beast, let's just call it economic machine, but whatever. People know this. A lot of people, let's say governments, they pass tariffs sometimes. There's subsidized markets. Quite often, I see what they're doing, and I'm like, dude, y'all are causing chaos out here. You know what I mean? They're basically modifying. It's almost like having a little like baby or a puppy or something. And like if you're a good parent, if you're a good adult, you know how to like train it properly, to become, you know, good. Like how to, how to train a dog to be like a nice dog, be well mannered, whatever. Same thing with a child. You know how to train the child to be, teach them manners, stuff like that. Okay, and then there's like crappy adults, crappy owners, crappy parents that do the opposite. They almost like train their dogs to be vicious monsters, and then they let their kids be crazy and stuff like that. You don't want to be like that, okay? But you see what like the governments are doing a lot, and they're not being good parents, you might say, to the economy. They're more or less being very either neglectful parents or just careless. And a lot of things they're doing are leading to, chaotic behavior out of the economy. So yeah, naturally you want to, you gotta see it in the same way. It's basically what it is. It's like a giant living organism. That's why I say like taming the economic machine, whatever. And you just gotta understand how it works. It's the same thing. Like you understand a dog. You want it to do a trick, you give it a little treat. You say, hey, roll over. If it don't roll over, you don't give it a treat. If it does, you give it a treat. It's positive and negative feedback. The same thing in the economy. It's which is really just a matter of people doing things. There's businesses, whatever. If you affect the incentives for those businesses, you're gonna affect what they do. You're gonna affect the different parts of the economy, and we know this. We know this. Okay, that's why governments do stuff like pass tariffs and have subsidized markets and stuff. Um, but I don't think they do very good at it. I think they do kind of really bad at it sometimes. It's kind of like spoiling a child. It's like, yo, like, or trying to train a dog and you're just giving them treats like every 5 seconds. Like, that, you're not going to teach them nothing. They're not going to roll over if you just keep giving them treats for nothing, like, you have to do it right. And this is relevant for a lot of ways because the economy, like I said, is like the meta organism of mankind. That's usually what I call it. And it basically is driving, like there's people that go to work every single day, like and do the same thing every single day. They are a part of the economic machine. They are just every single day it's driving their behavior. What they do every single day is driven by economic incentives. They want their little profit, so they got their little job and they're doing whatever they do every single day, the same thing. And there's billions of people who are doing the same thing. They are not the same exact job, but they're doing some job based on economic incentives. These incentives are literally driving the behavior of like billions of people on Earth. Almost, I would say most of the population. You know what I mean? And people do different things. Some people are creative entrepreneurs and they just find new things to do, whatever. But a lot of people, they just go for a basic job and they do whatever that basic job is, and they do it every single day. So literally billions of people, I would say the majority of the population, their behavior is driven by economic incentives. They're part of the economic machine, and that's a lot of people. And then you take how many people that is, multiply it times the, I guess you could say, efficacy that technology affords people, and I mean, we're having a major impact on planet Earth, on natural ecosystems, on all types of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that people do that is very, very, very extremely toxic to the planet. And this is a relatively new thing because we've only been here at this level of efficacy, you could say, not that long. Honestly, if you like just study a little bit of biology, like billions of years of evolution occurred for humans to even spring up. And humans were here for a while and they were pretty natural for the most part. And about 200 years ago, they started like creating a lot of technology that really enabled people to be very effective toward the planet, and not necessarily, and not really in a good way, and then the population exploded, and I mean this is like the last 200 years, so billions of years of biological evolution occurred before humans were even around, and the planet was doing just fine. Natural ecosystems were developing, whatever. And humans, even when they came around, they were still living in a natural way for a very long time. Natural ecosystems doing just fine. It wasn't until people started getting kind of smart and inventing stuff and then producing things on a mass scale that people kind of became toxic. And that's what we're dealing with right now. So you take the amount of people multiplied times the the technology that enables people to do some pretty major stuff, and you can see how we already have been very damaging to the planet. And so what's the solution to that? What's the solution to a giant economic machine that's wreaking havoc on natural ecosystems? Some people might say, oh, just get rid of people, just limit the amount of people, don't let them have babies, do this, do that. Does it have to be like that? Come on, bro. That's like saying, your dog who pooped on the floor, gotta get rid of him, gotta euthanize him, can't have him around, we gotta get rid of him, just totally. You could just teach him to not poop on the floor. It's that simple. Be a good parent. It's like your kid poops in his diaper. He poops himself. Can't have that. Gotta get rid of him. Like, that's not the answer, dude. The answer is to change the behavior. The answer is to be a good parent and understand the incentives to change the behavior. It's that simple. So with the economy, like I said, there's individual players, whatever. There's different markets, and I see a lot of politicians. They try to affect the markets, but they do it in a really, really stupid way. I'll tell you the truth. Half the time I see these politicians, they look like they're doing it for their own profits. They're like, hey, let's change this market up so my best friend over here can make a whole bunch of money and I can, split the bag with him, basically. You know what I mean? And it's like, bro, are you kidding me? And there's a lot of that. I see a lot of that in a lot of different countries with a lot of different governments. I'm just like, oh my gosh, y'all kidding me? And then so basically, I think they're in large part, if not creating a problem, then at least incentivizing it and allowing it. They'll never say that though. They'll probably just say, "Oh, I didn't know." Like, "Oh, we thought that was a good idea." Da da da. Now, half the time they are doing some shifty stuff, I think, and it's leading to a lot of bad outcomes. Um, yeah, so that's what we call corruption. We don't want that. If people don't understand what's going on, then they can do that all day, and no one's gonna be the wiser. That's why I'm trying to explain this so people can like think about it, try to understand these systems, so they know what should happen. And if they see some politicians doing something that shouldn't happen, they're just screwing you around. They're creating a lot of problems. They are just by what they're doing. They are literally doing like the opposite of being a good parent. It's like training the dog to be stupid instead of teaching it how to be good, well mannered, and you know functional and useful. That's the thing. The economy. I mean, there should be some basic goals for the economy. I think the two main ones I see is to make sure like every human has like a basic like standard of living. Like even if they don't work or anything, if they're disabled or whatever it is, that's like basic humanity. Make sure everybody's taken care of, for like just at least at a basic level. Okay, so that's number one. Number two is to uh, be the engine for progress. Like a lot of companies, they if they're incentivized correctly, they will produce. That's what they'll do. They'll produce awesomeness, and you've seen that. This phone right here produced because of free market capitalism. It's not really free market. People say free market, but it's capitalism, and it's incentivized in various ways. And so yeah, it's the same thing. So I think those are two basic goals. Make sure. Okay, third one, make sure the planet's taken care of. That might be the most important actually. I mean, because if you don't take care of the planet, then people can't even survive, much less have a basic standard of living. So number one should be make sure we don't destroy the planet, take care of the natural ecosystems. Two should be make sure everybody has a basic standard of living. And honestly, we want a nice planet just to live and enjoy it, dude. Like nobody wants to breathe some toxic air, drink some toxic water, go outside and see smog and crap everywhere. No, I mean, nobody wants to. This planet is a gem of a planet, and I mean, there's never gonna be another planet like this where we feel so perfectly connected. Like I said, we're part of the natural ecosystems. Like, there's never gonna be a planet where we are so fit to exist. It's just impossible. It's so diverse and so perfect. We evolved with it. I mean, we can never recreate it, like ever. So no, I mean, it's like imperative we don't mess it up. But anyway, so you know, multiple reasons not to mess it up. So yeah, one, don't mess up the planet. Two, make sure everybody has basic level of standard of living. Three, drive progress. Number one is the most important though. Number two is pretty important. I think it's more important than number three. Number three is like when everything else is taken care of, planet's good, people are good. Number three, we can try new things, try to, just progress, you know what I mean? I guess that's a matter of sustainability, stuff like that. Don't want to mess up the planet, want to make sure everybody's taken care of. And I mean, I'll be honest, if the population does get too big, then maybe we shouldn't have so many babies. I mean, it's not a hard thing to do. They have in China like a one baby policy. And I mean, if the population's just booming too hard, just okay, have a one baby policy, then two parents have one kid, it's like a halving generational thing instead of, some two parents have four kids, it's doubling, those kids have four kids, it's exponential stuff going on right there. So yeah, if you just do the opposite, it should go down. I'm just saying, we want a sustainable system. I mean, that's pretty apparent. I don't really think of everything in an economic way. Like a lot of people seem to be like, oh yeah, like let's measure like everything people are doing in an economic way. It's like, no, if people just live and like they're like spiritual or artistic or just friendly and they contribute to the beauty of life in like ways that can't be measured economically. So I mean, like, I think it's stupid. Like it's like having a, what's the old thing Einstein said? He said if you like judge the fish by how well it can climb a tree, you would think the fish was useless, you know. But it's like no, you don't judge everybody in the same way. There's lots of ways that people contribute to, you know, the beauty of life. I mean, people are diverse. Like right here, I don't even have a job right now. Like I have money. There's super rich people that literally don't even work. They just know how to like do like economic flipping things like that, and that's not work. They're not like contributing. Like for instance, like stock trading. That's not work. All you're doing is trading stocks, and it's almost like gambling. But if somebody like that is successful economically, does that mean they're like more useful than some like nice person, a priest or a teacher or some just like good-hearted person or an artist or who knows? You know what I mean? A stay-at-home mother? No, it doesn't mean that person is more important. I mean, that's just stupid. So don't think with what I'm saying here that I'm like thinking we should measure everything in some economic way. I mean, as much as I'm talking about an economic machine, I mean, I'm really talking about the industrialized part of that. You know, people live outside of that, you know, in so many ways. You know, that really at most, not at most, but the main function of that, I would say, is to provide for people. You know, and people got to do what they got to do to make sure they got what they need to live. You know, and that's why people go to work, whatever. So that's a main function. But you know, a lot of people when they go home, they work all day. They go home, they just chill. You know, that's their. They go play with their kids. They go do some type of hobby. You know, just whatever. You know, people live outside of work. That's one. I think everybody knows that. So there's that. I just felt like I had to explain that because it feels like some people might be like too entrained on the idea of economics, whatever. Economics is cool with a lot of other things too. Like I said, it drives progress, innovation, whatever. So that's cool. Anyway, back to the main gist of everything I'm saying. We need to properly incentivize the economy to properly get the results that we want from it. It's like a child. It has no real, it needs external discipline. It doesn't really, doesn't discipline itself necessarily. I mean, maybe eventually it will, but right now, nah, it seems like it needs external discipline. So like, let's say with like pollution, if there's a company that just like is just throwing nasty stuff everywhere, then okay, you gotta put some penalty there. There's gonna be a consequence for doing that. There's always stuff like that. Um, but other places there's not. There's just a lot of stuff that's allowed that I look at and I'm like, whoa, like that should not even be allowed at all. Um, and then there's some stuff that probably should be incentivized. It should probably be rewarded. And then other times I see things that are rewarded that probably shouldn't be rewarded. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? You're not taming the economic machine properly. You are being a bad parent. You're gonna get bad results. You keep doing that. It's gonna keep doing the same stupid stuff. You know what I mean? You can't expect it to turn out good if you're training it the wrong way. You know what I mean? If you're not being a good parent, whatever. I could talk about specifics. Like one with plastic. I heard that the price of recycled plastic is a little bit higher than the price of brand new plastic. So the incentives there are, you know, to make new plastic because it's a little bit cheaper. It's a profit incentive. If you want people to recycle plastic, all you gotta do is make the price of new plastic a little bit higher. So there'll be incentives to recycle plastic. And I heard that somewhere, and somebody said like, yeah, if you do that, there will be new jobs created. People can go just recycle plastic and sell it, and it'll create new jobs for people, and people will go pick up plastic from everywhere, cleaning up the planet. And guess what? You just created a positive incentive for a type of behavior that you want out of the economy. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. You can do it with literally everything else. I have a friend, he actually is an engineer and he works for a company that does fracking. And he's like, man, I really don't like doing it, but I gotta make money. You see what I'm saying? Like people just do it if it's allowed in so many cases. I think that should be banned straight up. And a lot of companies might be like, no, 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 can't do that. And they'll probably lobby. They'll go to their people in Congress and promise them some type of backdoor paycheck somehow. And a lot of the Congress people, they'll sell out the planet. They'll sell out the whatever. They'll say, go ahead and go frack. They don't. So many of these Congress people are just like selfish, bro. They are probably corrupt, and I don't think they think about the consequences of the planet, of what people might do to the planet if certain things are allowed, whatever. It's it's so stupid. It's very stupid in my opinion. But yeah, like fracking, I don't think it should be allowed. I think that should be outright banned. That's just unnecessary. Unnecessary. It's probably a lot of other stuff like that. Fuel, maybe. They've been talking about a carbon tax, so that's something. You just have to have the proper incentives in play to reinforce the proper behavior that you want from the economy. It's just that simple. That's all you gotta do. Like, I don't even feel like I have to go over the specifics. It's just like proper incentives, proper outcome. Just like training a little dog. Now I know they've been doing this, but but in theory they've been doing it. Like in practice, no, they are crappy. There's so much stuff that I think should be outright banned. That's allowed. Things that are banned that should be allowed. For instance, like marijuana, hemp. They ban that. Why would you? I mean, it's wow. You see exactly what I'm saying. It's so stupid. Um, there's other stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff like that. So much stuff. I can go on. I go on and on. I don't. I don't think there should be a war on drugs because that is just unnecessary. I mean, like, there's so many things like that. There's these laws that basically ban things that aren't even bad. They allow things that are bad. And it's just like, what are y'all doing? The incentives are all jacked up. That's why the economic machine is so destructive to the planet, because the people that are supposed to be like training it properly are not doing their job. They are basically just like, do whatever you want, puppy, poop on the floor. Like, there's not going to be, you have to train it. You have to train it. You have to constantly reinforce the behavior that you want. And I'm totally not saying we should be like some totalitarian dictator people. What I'm saying is there's common sense places where to do that. You know what I mean? Like, if you're training a dog or you have a kid or something, you don't want to like totally control them and be like over disciplinary to where they feel like they can't even like breathe without like getting in trouble or something. That's insanity. That's gonna drive the little child crazy. There's no room for just motion, natural living, whatever. Not at all what I'm saying. But if your child's about to do something like extremely stupid, that's dangerous, destructive, you stop them. Just what you do. Your dog about to do something stupid, hey, get everything but that. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. So yeah, I'm definitely there's so many places. I mean, a lot of people sometimes talk about the free market. It's like, dude, there's so many places where we cannot allow that. I mean, if you allow the free market to do what it does, people just dump toxic waste in rivers and just destroy everything. Like, because the incentive is there for them to do so. It's cheaper. It's cheaper just to like be careless. It's cheaper. It costs money to like properly dispose of stuff, to be more careful. There has to be disciplinary incentive measures put in place, or it would just be chaos. It's just like leaving a kid, just let the kid do whatever he wants, let the dog do whatever he wants. It's like, okay, watch. It's gonna be some destructive stuff happening very soon. And but then on the other hand, if you put stupid, messed up reinforcements, what are you gonna get? You're gonna get stupid behavior out of the dog or the kid or whatever. It's the exact same thing with the economy. People just have to understand it properly, to put in the right reinforcements, the right type of incentives to get the type of behavior that we all want. It's common sense stuff. The type of stuff I'm talking about is like common sense stuff. I'm saying, like, we want to get rid of plastic. Okay, quit producing new plastic, make the price higher, create a market for recycled plastic. People go collect it and recycle it. And I mean, puts people to work, clean stuff up. You're gonna have a good time. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's just one example. Fracking, get rid of fracking. Hemp, that should have been legal a long time ago. That should have never been banned. That right there seems like an example of like why was that banned ever? Why was that ever banned? It looks like there's probably some politicians that were like lobbied to from some people and like, okay, we'll do it as long as we get some cut, back door or somehow. I can almost guarantee that's what happened. They sold. I guess I don't know how to say it. Like they sold out. I don't know. They're corrupt. I don't know what you want to call that. Like y'all suck. I don't know. But so I mean that's it. Like I don't even know every specific right off the top of my head. Like I don't have every specific. Like the plastic one's one. Fracking I think is one, because that messes up some like geological aquifer type stuff. It cracks the layers of earth and cross contaminates and everything. That's absurd. I don't even think. I think we should move on to different types of energy. Honestly, that's another one in general. A lot of different types of recycling programs should be put in place. Sometimes just companies just over manufacture stuff, which they make goods that are like made to break. Like if a company gets caught doing that, you gotta like penalize that, because if they just make some and expect it to break, people buy it, throw it out. It's just gonna be piles of useless garbage. You know what I mean? Planned obsolescence. That has to be extremely punished. There has to be proper incentives to get rid of that. And that's the thing. If the politicians are being lobbied to from these freaking companies, like, hey, let us dump crap in the water. Hey, let us frack. Hey, let us create a whole bunch of plastic. Hey, let us produce all this crap that's gonna be thrown away. Then, it's like that's just stupid. It's just stupid in so many ways. It's not even hard though. It's so simple to see it like that. People gotta understand this stuff. That way you can hold the politicians accountable. Be a politician yourself. Go run for Congress, dude. If you understand this, go run for Congress. Beat those people out. Because half of them, I'm telling you, they're just sitting there. They're not even being challenged, bro. They're just sitting there getting reelected year after year. And they're selling everything out, dude. Oh my gosh, dude. Everybody should be running for Congress. There should be mega competition to fill up those seats in Congress, to be the president, all types of stuff. There should be mega competition. And then, who knows, you might be a congressperson. And second, at least you'll be talking about some stuff. And I don't know, it's just some, I don't know. I think Eisenhower said, everybody should like be in some type of public service at some point in their life, like it's just what people should do. It's important stuff. The lawmakers create the incentives that affect the economy for the most part. I mean, there's the general incentive of like profit. Okay, it's just like the dog likes a treat, but then the lawmaker gives the treat or it gives the punishment. It's the same thing. Like it's like the parent, and it's super important. It's super important. And if you don't even understand how it works, then how are you gonna hold politicians accountable? I mean, I think everybody needs to understand this, for one. For two, if you understand this, you should probably run for Congress, and you should probably talk about this. You should probably, if you get elected into Congress, you should bring it up, get everybody else on point. I mean, the more people understand this, the better, because the economy is driving the behavior of every single human being. People multiply times the effectiveness of technology. It's major what we're doing to the planet, dude. And the lawmakers are the governing factor. They are the parent that's teaching this economic machine how to act. I mean, they are putting the incentives here and there and here and there. They're the ones who are allowing stupid behavior from the economic machine. So it's imperative. It's imperative that people understand this. It's imperative that people, if you do understand it, run for Congress. It's imperative that if there's some stupid politicians up there that are doing crazy stuff, that either hold them accountable, one, or two, take their positions. You know, people aren't supposed to be Congress people forever. They have like 2 year limit terms. I think. I mean, for at the House, there's term limits for a reason. They're supposed to be replaced. People are supposed to like take those positions every so often. They're supposed to be people are supposed to be switched out. People are supposed to be involved. It's a democracy, you know. Like that's what I'm trying to tell y'all. If you understand this and you see some of the politicians out there not getting it, you might be better suited than them to handle this type of business. I'm telling you. I'll run for Congress. People gotta vote for me though. You gotta vote for me. So what do you want me to do? So I'm saying the more people understand this, then when they see somebody run for Congress talking about stuff like this, they might actually vote for them. See what I'm saying? So that's the case I see a lot. Sometimes people are talking about some good stuff, and it seems like people don't understand what they're talking about, so they don't vote for those people. I mean, what do you want them to do then? And that's a bad situation. We need good people at the helm, you know, taking the wheel in a parent position who are training this economy, you know, putting the right incentives out there, the right positive and negative feedback to get the right type of behavior out of the economy. I mean, it's really kind of what it's all about. So yeah, I think that covers most of it. It's imperative. It's imperative because if we keep, I mean, I'm telling you, it's just like the little puppy, the little kid's not bad. It's just not trained. You gotta train it. You gotta teach it to be good. That's what you need to do. The economy's not bad. You know, all the people that are just going to work and stuff, they're not bad people. They're just doing their jobs. You know what I mean? It's not bad. They might just not be trained. Okay. You could say that some people that are just careless and they know it better than to like dump some crap in a river or something, that they might be bad. Okay, maybe. You could say that. But if that's the case, then there has to be some discipline. You know, it just is what it is. There's gonna have to be external discipline constantly, because to tell you the truth, you know, like just like some kids are raised properly and they grow up to be like good adults. You know, there's still adults out there that got to adulthood and they don't care about anything. So what do when they commit a crime or something? You lock them up. You give them some type of punishment. You know, it's the same thing. Those same type of external incentives are in place to make sure people who weren't raised right, whatever, are punished for stupid behavior, like extremely stupid behavior for the most part. You know, like I said, I'm not talking about any type of dictatorial type stuff. Like, that's not at all what I'm talking about. That being said, dude, I think that covers most of it. I don't think I need to talk too much about this. Like, I think that's a general premise that I think people can understand and apply in your life, you know, apply it in life in general, and use it. Use what I'm saying right now and run for Congress on this premise, and hopefully it'll be successful. We need it. We freaking need it. So go ahead and do that. I hope this is a positive thing. Helps people, you know, just be better parents. I guess you could say something like that, right? And hopefully you get better outcomes out of the economy, because, you know, it's not a bad thing. The little kid's not bad. You know, he just needs to be trained. If you don't train him, I mean, it's, you know, just like a dog. A dog, you know, it just needs to be trained properly. You know what I'm saying? That being said, hope this was helpful. And I'll talk to you guys later. I'm out.